From the month of August, we've had a serious problem in Africa where people are being sent from other countries. This started with Swaziland after the tariffs were imposed on African countries, where Swaziland accepted 5 dangerous criminals. And this was a declaration that was made by the United States of America President, which is Donald Trump, as part of the negotiation process of these tariffs that he has imposed on African countries. And then saw South Africa making attempts to negotiate with the United States of America, which was then followed by this move of these people from Palestine in Gaza moving to South Africa. It's not clear if whether these people are dangerous or what, but what we know is that they are here in the country. Let us delve deep on this situation.
Well, it's quite disturbing, and I think the best way is to await the investigation. I think the investigation should be carried at 2 fronts. One is domestically, that this is a government of national unity, whether it is speaking with one voice or not, given the fact that our foreign policy is under ANC, while the Home Affairs is under DA. We need to understand whether there were any implication based on that or not. At the second front of investigation is the circumstances in each they left. Whether the Israelis allegation made by other NGO bodies that came, it was a deliberate move, whether that is true or not. But in a normal circumstance, any plane that takes off going to another country, there are lots of communication. You know who is coming into your country, and the circumstance in which, and therefore it's quite shocking that the government did not know the circumstances in which they came. And therefore, I think at this stage, circumstances and on the eve of G20, it's just a wait and see. However, I think the government has to improve communication to ensure that the public is quite aware before the arrival of groups such as.
So we woke up yesterday to the news of these 160 or 153 Palestinians who landed in South Africa, and they did not have the proper documentation to be allowed in the country. But shockingly, the Minister of Home Affairs, as well as the Minister of International Relations, Mr. Ronald Lamola, they accepted them and they said we should open them, we should allow them in open arms, to the point that even our South African president said this yesterday.
The issue of the Palestinians who have been brought here is a matter, as I said, that we're paying attention to. We obviously need to look at the origins, where it started, the reason why they've been brought here. And ordinarily we would have said they should go back because they didn't have any documentation. But out of empathy, out of compassion, and because they are a people that we as South Africa have raised our hands to support, we felt that we should accept them and process their matter. So their matter is being processed, we are discussing it, our intelligence agency is involved, and the Home Affairs is involved, and DERCO is also involved. So we're going to do a proper evaluation and see what the future portends when it comes to this. So we will be dealing with it, and as I said, we will make an announcement so that the people of South Africa know precisely what is happening and how this matter came to be where it is.
However, we forget that a few months ago, or in August, let me not put it too far, there's 5 prisoners that were sent to Swaziland. And this was then not welcomed even by the South African president. But what is shocking is that we have this type of situation in South Africa. Could it be a part of the negotiation process with the United States of America? What is this? What do you call this? Do you think that if African countries, other African countries, for example, people from Congo, they were to come in this country, they will accept it like this? I say that this was planned, and I refuse to believe that the government did not know of this, because why is it that when they were in the airports, they were very much welcomed? You could see from the reception that these people, they were waited for.
I mean, Dr. Suleiman speaks of how some of them are actually here because their family members were flown in with a flight that came to South Africa to one prior to the one that we are seeing tonight.
Absolutely, Kateho. And I had a candid conversation with a 14-year-old. Of course, that conversation was translated, and I asked him how he feels. And he said, South Africa is now my home, and I'm happy to be here. That's a candid conversation I've had. But the scenes here at the arrivals terminal, the international arrivals at OR Tambo, I can tell you now, there's a disaster center which is being set up here just to coordinate the movement of these people right now.
How can you wait for someone that you don't know that they are coming? We normally wait for people that we know that they are coming. We are aware of them coming in the country. So could it be that this was a plan? Let us look into this meeting, the secret meeting that happened this month, if not last month. So there's a secret meeting with the GNU partners, and we don't know what was discussed there. Could it be that one of the things that were discussed was this trip of these people moving from Gaza to South Africa? Remember that the Minister of Home Affairs has been moving rather shady these days, allowing people that have left South Africa a long time ago to get their citizenship back. If you guys even remember that dual citizenship thing, all these things you might think they're not connecting, but they're very much connecting, because the dual citizenship thing approved, then we see such things happening. The people that are from Palestine coming here who are seeking refuge, it does not only end there.
7.6 million tourist arrivals between January and September 2025. Cabinet welcomed the 7.634261 million international tourist arrivals recorded between January and September 2025, marking an impressive increase of 1.10822 visitors compared with the same period in 2024, and confirming South Africa as a premium global tourism destination. Key strong growth markets that contributed to this growth are Middle East with 58% increase, Europe grew by 29%, key markets in Africa grew by 28%, North America by 22%, and Asia with 11%. Despite all issues, the North American visitors are still coming to South Africa, if you get my drift.
And the previous one, people were called on a particular night and told tomorrow morning the buses will be ready for you. Next morning they went to the bus, they were told you can only take a rucksack, nothing else. They were then taken across into Israel. On the Israeli side, they were told that they can't have rucksacks either. All they allowed is a cell phone, passport, and some money, some cash. Then they were taken to the Ramon military Air Force base in Israel. They were put onto a chartered flight, no exit stamp. They were put onto a chartered flight, ended up in Nairobi, then put onto another chartered flight, and then ended up in Johannesburg. In both cases, people were actually not told where they're going to end up.
Honestly, knowing our politicians in South Africa, they started their blame game. Their blame game was, it is not us, which is the NC.
You want government to explain that here is a group of people, 130, arriving at OR Tambo, the Palestinians and all of that. How were they processed? What happened? Border management is an agency of government, and they will explain their procedures. That we gave them forms to sign, and that is it. It ends there. But you need a political leader of this government to have voted. Even in the GNU, where's Schreiber? Explaining what are the laws that have been followed to accept the Palestinians in this country. Where's the Minister of Home Affairs?
Even though the president has accepted that, no, we are welcoming these people in open arms. But we see the ANC faction, the other side of the ANC, which is Fikile Mbalula, is preparing to be the next ANC president, coming to say that, not really. I think this is the DA's doing. Partners now, pulling each other. The other one saying this is us, the other one saying it's not us. It's just confusing. They're creating that sense of confusion even with the citizens. And even with Swaziland, the government knew, but the citizens didn't know that the government has decided to take such a drastic decision. Who are these people? Are they clean? It doesn't mean that just because there's people with children and men, they are not guilty. Could be that these people were just sidelined, they were criminals in their country, they were arrested, then they were dumped in South Africa. What is the nature of this whole thing? I know that in Swaziland, indeed, those people were criminals, but here, these people are posed as civilians who just happened to land here by mistake. The question still remains, if it's a mistake, why is it that there's so much preparation, including NGOs playing a serious role like Gift of the Givers?
I've been very traumatized, but there's a back-end story to this. This is not the first plane. This is the second plane. On the 28th of October, plane arrived in OR Tambo Airport, and these people were displaced. They didn't know where to go. They had no contact numbers, no phone numbers. And a person called Nigel Bentley from the church found them and started putting them together with other civil society organizations, and members of my team got involved. I'm not sure how they found them, where they were displaced. There were 176 of them, and then some of them went back to other countries. The family members of this first group then told us yesterday that their family members are coming on the second plane, and nobody knew about the plane. And it seems from their feedback, Israel is voluntarily removing people from Gaza. This is ethnic cleansing at its best, and taking away their goods, their hygiene packs, their food, sending them onto chartered planes, and government has to investigate how people are coming on chartered planes without stamps. Israel did not stamp their passports, so they're sort of traveling illegally, brought into South Africa, and the second plane came in this morning at 8 o'clock. The border management authority didn't allow them to get off the plane, simply because they were following the rules, that there is no stamp on the passport. And they were trying to follow rules and not get into trouble for the stamp. I got hold of Zane Dango, he's in Canada. Of course, he spoke to the minister and other people in DERCO. I spoke to the Border Management Authority, other people involved in this issue, and just about the stamp. And of course, now this afternoon, the minister is writing to the Minister of Home Affairs, because that's his policy or his portfolio, to waive the stamp requirement, so these people then could come into the airport and come to the country and seek asylum.
I don't know what you guys make of this development that came, and what you guys think is actually happening with our country. Do you think that the government has agreed to some agreement, has made an agreement with the United States of America? And you must remember that, guys, Donald Trump said that he wants people out of Gaza. Could it be that this is the start of the campaign? Because this is not the first trip of the people coming in South Africa. This is the second trip. And whenever these people come in the country, they don't come here as asylum seekers, as refugees. They end up getting permanent residency. They end up being able to form their communities, like what we've seen even with the Chinese community that has been formed in South Africa. I don't know what you guys think. I don't know what you make of this. And that's the thing. These things are going to have a long-lasting impact. When these people have citizenship in South Africa, do we think they'll vote for the EFF? They'll vote for Mkhonto Sizwe Party? I doubt that they will do so. What do you think is actually the bigger plan here? Especially when you think about the role of the Minister of Home Affairs in this whole situation. Moving right along to the motion of no confidence against Panyaza Lesufi. So yesterday there was a motion of no confidence against Panyaza Lesufi, and obviously the DA did not succeed with that motion of no confidence because the other parties were on the side of the ANC. They loved working with Panyaza Lesufi. And this is some of the highlights of the celebratory moment in that environment or in that venue. Obviously, the Democratic Alliance was not happy with how the parties did not support them in their motion of no confidence. And this is what this man says.
Outing here today. We had parties like Action SA, you had BOSA, you had Rise, Zanzi, you had the IFP that have decided, and you have the Mkhonto Sizwe and the EFF that all decided to stand on the side of corruption, that have all decided to stand on the side of maladministration and of incompetency. We have been saying time and time again that it cannot be that government can continue, to not deliver services to the people.
And I don't know, this video started surfacing. I don't know if it's the resurface of the video. This person was responding to the DA member a long time ago, or it's a response that happened now. But this is what Kenny Kunene said in response to this man.
This is not the first time Solim Simanga insults the PA. It is not the first time you called us rent seekers. You called us Judases. Now you are telling us how shunned we have been. You are telling us that we have no options. Solim Simanga, you can never put us to a corner, Sani. We operate in a rendezvous. You can never put us to a corner. Tonight, our president will show you that we have options. You will hear tonight at 8 o'clock that we have options. But let me talk about this Solim Simanga. Solim Simanga, being the mayor of Tshwane, was captured by Simbi Piri, your corrupter. Simbi Piri, you gave him work to do work in Tshwane. In one of those civils that he was doing, a child died. Nothing was done about it. You went as a guest of honor, even spoke when Simbi Piri was inaugurating a head office building for his two companies, Hato Civils and South Zambezi. You even took your wife and went to Malawi to attend the wedding of the son of Simbipiri, your Gupta, your capturer. Who paid for those flights? Who paid for accommodation? Is it the people of Swani? Is it the taxpayer? Or is it Simbipiri who paid for you? Did you declare that? Solim Simanga, don't start with me, Sani. You are the first mayor to be donored, to bleed because of money. Heletoni leke kake mursani. Jay can not backfly a grey. Time men of a jay, no one corruption in the board. But Santana donor Sani. Jay folk kaksani. Or suspect of patir. Every time you open your filthy mouth, you put diarrhea on the name of Patriotic Alliance. To fucking piece of shit. We'll deal with you politically. But diamonds of a day,
I think that politicians need to be too mature to get to a point that they can disagree. I always say this, I'm an advocate of this. If you disagree with someone, you don't have to disrespect them in the process. Just disagree and move on. And such disrespect from Kenny Kunene, knowing himself that he's not even perfect, it's just so concerning. I have a problem with our political parties and our leaders being like this. I don't know what you guys think about such behavior. Let me hear your thoughts. Moving right along to the AFRIFORUM and Solidarity. I don't know if you guys saw this poster of AFRIFORUM and Solidarity. And it seems like these people were literally not happy about the government of the NC. This thing started with the G20, how the USA ended up saying they're not going to attend the G20. But they realized that the South African government or the ANC was not moved by that. They still continued. So I think they're trying to boycott the G20. And I wouldn't be shocked that on the day of the G20, they're going to be holding boards that are saying white genocide, we care, regulate us, racism in South Africa, they don't care about us, scrap BEE, scrap Expropriation Act. They're doing anything, especially that attracts international countries to show their cries. Because tell me why they've not put such a poster before. But now with the upcoming G20, they have such a big banner there by, I don't know if it's Empire Road or by, it looks like it's a little bit closer to Vets. I might be wrong, I might be mistaken. But when you look at this, you just see the ulterior motive behind that. It doesn't look like it's in good faith. But that's the thing. They've went to court. That removal has landed them in court because remember that South Africa is a country that has freedom of expression, freedom where you can express yourself how you feel. I don't know if though you can do that in such a public platform where you write something like that. But they're challenging this whole thing to court, and it's on an agent basis. I don't know what you guys think. Do you think that it's fair of the AFRIFORUM to do this as well as Solidarity and for them to shame our government? To a certain degree, I feel like our government is so rotten. Hence, even Operation DUDULA wants to do something with this G20 because they feel like the way this G20 is so precious. Even Fikile Mbalula said that Women for Change should stop their campaign that they want to do. I think it's a protest or I don't know if it's sort of like a protest in a way that is going to happen on the 21st of November. And they said that they want the country to shut, don't buy anything, don't support the government so that the government can understand the realities of GBV. But Fikile Mbalula came and said, no ways, guys, please stop what you're doing. Let us first respect the G20. You guys can do whatever after that.
That issues that we're faced with will be resolved by us. So if you protest because you want the world to see that we have a challenge called GBV, at the end of the day, fine and good, but that must be resolved by us. Long after those leaders who are coming here will have left. And
so there's a lot of people that are planning to boycott the G20. So it is having a lot of attack left, right, and center. What do you guys think? Do you think the case of the AFRIFORUM will hold, or what? Even the EFF had something to say about this whole acts of AFRIFORUM and Solidarity.
We must go back and deal with these racists and put them at their own place. These are terrorists and they need to be dealt with as such. They are terrorists, they want to harm this country, they want to destabilize the economy of this country, and we need to decisively deal with them as a state.
I think that these people are being silenced by political parties. Let me hear your thoughts. Moving right along to Mayibuye Africa as well as the EFF. So it seems like there's a quite a lot of things happening between these two political parties. Obviously, Floyd Shivambu is continuing with his media tours, speaking bad about political parties such as the EFF and Umkhonto weSizwe Party.
The fact that you've got 4 political parties under your belt right now. You've got African National Congress, the ANC Youth League. You've got Economic Freedom Fighters, you've got Umkhonto weSizwe, and then you've got Africa Mayibuye movement under your belt, right? For 4 political parties that you have played a pivotal role in. Others may perceive this as being somebody who does not know how to make a choice and stick with it. In other words, when you're looking at this, you're not able to commit to a political party. And every time it doesn't work, it seems as though you move. And then this does not work, and then it seems as though you move. And back to Africa Mayibuye. How do you expect voters to trust you if you've moved around so much? How do you expect voters to say, I've got a home with Africa Mayibuye movement and the leader of Africa Mayibuye movement, my vote is safe as a South African, if you yourself have moved 4 times?
Yeah, we need to speak about the politics and the ideological posture that I've held throughout those 4 political parties. There's proof, there's evidence of the views that I held in all those 4 political parties. It's not a secret. I got to lead the policy discussions and wrote the document called the Clarion Call to Economic Freedom Fighters, which was the discussion document and the primary resolution of the 24th National Congress of the African National Congress Youth League. I led the process of drafting and finalizing the politics in the founding manifesto of the Economic Freedom Fighters. The current constitution, the politics in the current constitution of Umkhonto weSizwe, I played a central role in writing that. I led the process to draft the restoration manifesto of Africa Mayibuye movement. Show me one inconsistency politically and ideologically, because all of those perspectives speak about the redress of the imbalances of the past, speak about decolonization, speak about reclamation of the land, speak about the provision of free education, speaks about massive industrialization to create millions of jobs.
But he finally met his match, and his match challenged him to the core. And this is what happened when he was challenged in the recent interview.
If I understand, you ANC Youth League, you say that the Jacob Zuma of the African National Congress is directionless. Then you go and you join the same guy who you accuse of being directionless, and then you become the Secretary General of the political party that you accused him of being directionless. Then you leave the very same political party, and then you say that his organization is not honest and it's just a family business. By the sounds of it, with how much you've accused this individual that you follow, does it not then get perceived by South Africans that you, Mr. Shivambu, are the one who is directionless?
Faith, instead of relying on social media posts, you would have given yourself time as well to do deeper research on the very substantial policy perspectives and diagnosis of the political conditions that obtained in the ANC. I've written a lot of perspectives from 2012, leave 2013 and 2012. I'd already begun to write about the diagnosis of the political crisis and the ideological misdirection of the African National Congress.
And this also was challenged by the EFF leader, which is Julius Malema, asking Floyd saying that they've done a lot in a short period of time, in 3 months if I'm not mistaken, or 2 months, than the EFF has done in like 10 years if I'm not mistaken.
And everyone else who had the formative stages of the EFF will know that the stage that Africa Mayibuye movement is at in 4 months' time is where EFF was possibly in the year 8 or year 9.
And Julius Malema responded. And this is his response. And I'm not gonna lie, I feel like Floyd, I don't know, like sometimes I don't know what's going on with Floyd's mind. And sometimes it shocks me, because I feel like I definitely agree with people like Mcebo who are saying that Floyd is smart. You can't take that away from him. But his smartness, man, these days, he does things that are very questionable. What has he achieved? Can we see those achievements that show that he's done way better than the EFF? What are those achievements? You guys can't even control your internal affairs. While you guys are saying that you want a commission of inquiry on the poverty of the poor, Nolubabalo comes and disputes that and says, no, we don't need that. As the Mayibuye Africa, we don't need that. You are saying, as the Mayibuye Africa, we need that. There's just a lot of internal conflict. And Nolubabalo is not backing down. She's here to claim the party. She feels like that is her party. She started her party, and she'll do whatever that she wants with the party.
I'm from Burkina Faso. We have an appointment.
You're going back to the MK party?
I didn't say that. I am volunteering right now for the MK party. But I'm just waiting.
You're still a member of Africa Mayibuye movement?
I own Africa Mayibuye movement. I'm a founder. At IEC, it's Comrade Floyd Shivambu, it's Comrade Nolubabalo Mcinga, it's Comrade Zondo.
So did you relinquish your membership of the MK?
I don't know what you guys think about all of the things that are happening in South Africa outside of MADLANGA Commission. Please comment your thoughts. Tell me what you think. Otherwise, I'll see you guys on my next upload. Bye.